Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning and welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we have Louise Wright, who is the director at Punch Creative. Morning. So thank you ever so much for joining us, Louise. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
So if I can just start off by passing over to you, if I can ask you to sort of introduce yourself to us properly, and if you can tell us a little bit more about you guys and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Vicky. So, I'm one of the directors at Punch Creative. We're a full-service agency in Leeds. I suppose the short version of what we do is give brands a voice through all mediums of marketing. So we work across digital, PR, social, and also video production. So yeah, anything that's marketing. Punch has actually been going since 2007. Started as a very small agency and grew to what will now be 18 when we come back from the pandemic, which is fantastic. And I only joined as a director almost 2 years ago to the day, actually. I was a client for probably 6 or 7 years before joining Punch. That's quite an unusual setup for an agency, but fantastic. Best move I ever made.
Fantastic. So how have you guys found the last 12 months? Tell us how the last 12 months has affected your business.
Oh, it's been a hell of a ride. I mean, prior to joining Punch, I'd never run my own business, so never would I have thought I'd be facing this within the first 2 years. I often think actually that last week would have had the guts to jump in and do it had I known what was down the lane. And I'd say I can't answer that still, but we have learned so much, and I feel actually really lucky to have learned everything we've learned over the last year. You know, there's been highs and lows, and you know, running a business completely differently to how we did a year ago, and it's been tough. You know, at first it was really tough. And we learned quickly, and we adapted quickly, and we became agile, and you know, just the same as many businesses. And what was really scary at first, and you know, lost a lot of business within the first few weeks, has actually turned out to be a stable and growing year for us. But I've learned huge amounts about leadership. About what leadership really is compared to what I probably thought it was, you know, about this year being more about our people than making money, and you know, more than anything, just about doing the right thing. And I really think we've done that at Punch. I feel really proud of what we've done and how we've operated, both like from the client side and from our people. And you know, we're just now starting to get excited about coming back and what that looks like, and you know, what the future can look like now that we've managed to stabilize everything. And yeah, it's been, I mean, like, it's been a hell of a year.
Somewhat of a roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you touched on leadership there. So how do you feel you've had to adapt as a leader over the last year?
I mean, massively, because you know, leadership when you're in and everybody's there all the time is very different to remote leadership. And you know, you have to juggle leading the business and making decisions on that side, and leading your people remotely and what that looks like. And I think what we had to do is wrap a lot more care around the team, you know, than we've ever had to do before. And we did that through like a variety of ways. You know, we kept in touch with the socials. We did punch pubs every month. I delivered care packages, you know, to everybody sporadically. We made sure that we communicated a lot more on, you know, Zoom, but WhatsApp, and you know, all sorts of ways. And we really upped the level of well-being, mentorship of the team. Our studio manager is our well-being champion, but she does yoga in the mornings with the team. And you know, we've just made sure that we've kind of kept on the pulse of how everybody's feeling, you know, making sure they're set up correctly at home and that they've got the right environment. And you know, some of them live on their own, some of them don't. There's just so many things to think about. But you know, we did pull together and you know, operate you know, effectively as leaders of the business with the people. And then, you know, from the client side, you know, we had businesses that all of a sudden didn't know what to do. We know we have hospitality clients, and that's my background, actually, 20 years in hospitality, but, you know, experienced hoteliers saying, I just don't know what to do. And other clients that were on a growth trajectory and wanted to get more digital immediately. So, you know, there was just so many different things. I mean, I think our heads felt like they were going to fall off, we said, on a regular basis. But, you know, I think we work strategically and quickly and, you know, communicated more than we've ever done before with everybody. And it all seems to have come together quite nicely. You know, it's sort of like blink and it feels like it's gone, yet at the same time feels like it was a really long year. But yeah, I would say in terms of leadership, we have learned a huge amount and realized we can do anything. You know, I think that's the thing now. We realize we can do anything.
Amazing. So, I mean, it's so lovely to hear that you have such a focus on your people and you've taken such good care of them. How have the team coped and adapted with remote working and, you know, the new forms of communication and kind of the normal that they've been working in for the last year? How have they coped?
I think everybody's coped really well. I mean, it has its ups and downs. You know, I mentioned some people live with partners, some people live alone, some people have gone back to their parents for a while. And I'd say we're actually coped far better than I thought. And that some people, I think, are probably feeling a little bit apprehensive about coming back to the office. And we're always going to keep that agile approach. Although I think as creatives, we are better when we're together. And I do think we need that. I mean, one of the things we did in the middle of the pandemic was decided to go for the 4-day working week. So as an agency, we now work Monday to Thursday. And again, that's given our people more downtime, more rest time over the weekend. And it has, you know, spurred on creativity. I think it's quite straightforward. You know, having that rest time does, you know, deliver innovation and creativity. So I think, you know, that has been a really big positive for the team and their motivation. And we'll, you know, we've got to now get used to that when we go back to the office. But, you know, all of our clients and the team took it as a huge positive. But yeah, I think in the main, they've all adapted quite well. You know, if you'd said a year ago, oh, by the way, you're all going to be working from home in isolation for a year, we probably would have completely freaked out. But you just adapted, you know, and there will be no going back to how it was before. Just, you know, it will always be different, and in a good way.
In a good way. So that's an adaptation that you're going to keep hold of, the 4-day week.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we will have to think through how that works because, you know, we work really efficiently at the moment. You know, we're up and on, and those 4 days are quite intense and we work really hard. So we have to find our feet with making that work. But we've no intention of going back. I mean, I think it's been a really positive thing. And I hope more businesses will follow us with that. You know, why not? You know, they do it in plenty of other countries successfully. So we're leading the way.
Fantastic. What do you feel is the biggest issue that you guys have had to overcome?
I mean, I would say the thing that's probably kept me awake most at night has been the financial side of the business, and, you know, overcoming the business that we lost and not really knowing. I mean, I do think this is going to be a boom year for many industries, us included, but we don't know that yet. You know, as furlough ends and we start to really see the impact on the economy, you know, there's going to be a dip there, and I'd say that's been the biggest concern. You know, we have done well. We've wrapped so much love and care around our clients that, you know, they've stuck with us and we've stuck with them. But yeah, that's been probably the more stressful element, is making sure that we're making money. But, you know, we took advantage of the opportunities out there from the government. We made sure we cut back wherever we could, and again, we made smart decisions to keep the business running. I know others in our industry weren't so lucky, so yeah.
Brilliant. So tell us, there certainly sounds as though there have been lots of positives for you guys to come out of the last year. So tell us a little bit more about some of the wins that you guys have experienced.
Yeah, I mean, actually, strangely, considering that, hospitality was hit so hard, we did onboard some new hospitality clients because, the ones that knew we need to be ready. For example, we've taken on a new wedding venue, which wasn't even open, but they knew there was going to be this boom of inquiries. So it's been great working on projects like that. And, quite a lot of people coming in asking for new websites at this time, again, to get ready because they need to have a stronger digital footprint. So new projects came in like that we hadn't expected. And some of our clients, we have clients in the pharma sector, they needed more than perhaps they'd needed before. So I think this year onwards will be a good growth year for us. But yeah, there was definitely highs that you didn't expect, because at the beginning of the year, I think we said, right, okay, look, if we can match what we did the prior year and stabilize everything, that's okay. Like I said before, this year wasn't about making the money for us, it was about the team and our clients. We strongly agreed that at the beginning. So we weren't expecting wins to come in. So when they came in, that was a really great moment. But what was really nice more than anything was clients that had to leave us, which we understood, and some of them we kept them going because we just weren't prepared to stop. So we did the right thing, and we did some work just to tide them over. We understood they couldn't pay us for a while, but all of those but one is coming back, and that's fantastic. And I guess that makes us really proud. We understood why they had to go, and that they needed to count every penny, and we didn't, switching off the marketing engine is never the right thing to do, but sometimes they had to do it. But they've come back, which is fantastic. Credit to the team,
isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely
Yeah.
You and the team.
Yeah, exactly. It's a credit to the relationships that we have, many of which are long-standing. And over this year, those relationships have become stronger because suddenly the relationship, it doesn't feel like client and supplier so much. Suddenly that you're having a glimpse into their home life, and they're there, and they, like with mine, my children were sat at the table homeschooling whilst I'm on a Zoom, or the dog jumps up, and I love that. I think that human relationship that we built with our clients this year has been fantastic. There's so much growth in the relationships this year based on just having an insight into what people are going through at home, and everybody feeling for everybody else, and that's been brilliant, actually.
There's almost been I feel like a sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
We've sort of developed with one another, and I think we're seeing people in their own homes, and their kids. I've had my son at the other end of the table homeschooling, working, and you're seeing people's dogs pop up, and the delivery men appearing, and we've had a snapshot into people's lives, and I think we've been able to empathise and support one another like nothing I've experienced. I think we haven't done before. I think if there's one of the positives that can come out of this, I hope this sense of kind of this wider spread community almost that we've created, something that we can continue to provide for one another.
Yeah, definitely. But it's for us to make it happen. We could go back to the way we did things before and suddenly go all corporate and just talk about, or we can make sure we continue that human bit of asking about the families we now know more about. And, I think that's the way we will operate. Absolutely. It's been one of the really great things to come out of the last year.
Definitely. I completely agree with you. So what do you see as what do you envisage as the main challenges that you might come up against sort of as we emerge from lockdown?
I suppose one of the challenges will be how we operate being back in the office, and manage to not suddenly feel like we're not being productive because we're sat in a traffic jam either way. And so I think we've got to overcome that as a challenge, and I think if we don't stop and really reflect on what we've learned and change our business plans for the future, then we've wasted all this opportunity to learn. So I think one of the challenges is going to be to make time to really sit down and reflect on, right, what went really well, what didn't, how are we going to now take all this learning and continue it to grow the business, and not just get kind of back into the way things were before. I don't want that to happen. So it's not a challenge, it's more of an opportunity, I suppose, but the challenge will be making sure we make time for it to happen. Certainly that's what we would be doing. And we've got the challenges to face that we just don't know. We don't know what the landscape's going to look like for the next 5 years, but we just got to continue to look for those opportunities and find them, uncover them, and go for them. We have a real hunger at the moment for the growth of the business, and but yeah, that's going to be our challenge, to seek out the opportunities and think differently about how we win them.
Yeah, and embed that change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So with everything you've learned over the course of the last year, the experiences that you've had, knowing what you know now, if you could go back to last March, what would you have done differently, or what would you have done sooner?
It's a good question. But in all honesty, I don't think there's a huge amount I'd have done differently. I feel like we've done the right things. And I actually, rather than look at what we could have done differently, I'm more looking at pride of what we did and what we can take from that. I think we did react quickly. I suppose it would have been good. Perhaps we should have made sure that our working from home agile model was ready in the eventuality that this might happen. But no one could have done that.
Nobody could have predicted this.
Yeah, no one could have done that. And we managed pretty quickly to get our IT support systems, making sure that we were set up, and telecoms and all of that side of things. So yeah, I don't want to sound cocky with that, but I don't think there's a huge amount we could have done differently.
Brilliant. There's nothing wrong with being very proud of yourself and your team. So what would you say is kind of the biggest learning for you in terms of you as a leader? What have you learned the most about yourself of last year?
Okay, well, I think I've learned that we are stronger than we perhaps thought that we were, and that we what else have I learned? That's a good question. I've learned more than I could possibly put into words, but it's trying to sum that up into a sentence is quite difficult. Let me just pause for 1 second. Sorry,
we'll come back.
Yeah, sorry, just sorry, this kettle was just going on, it distracted me.
Real life.
I know, sorry, that's it. This is what we're saying, yeah, people seeing people's houses. So sorry, the question was, what have we learned? Yeah, I think that we've learned that I tell you what we've learned, we're a solid team, and that we can work together really well to overcome any obstacles that are thrown at us. I'd say that's one of the biggest things that we've learned. We're good at what we do. I think I've really reflected on that with pride.
Brilliant. And what does the future hold for Punch? What does the future look like for you guys?
I think the future's really, really very exciting. I think the business is not what it was at all 12 months ago, and everyone says that to me. I had a call with our PR and marketing manager yesterday. She went, "What? We've changed so much in 12 months," and I think, like I said, the future is learning from that. The business model's changed slightly, and we've got loads of ideas for how it's going to work moving forward. We just need to kind of pull all that together with the team. But I think the business 12 months ago to the business now is completely different in terms of how we work, some of the clients that we've got, and how we think the agency world and market will change. We're much more integrated into our clients in a way that's far bigger than just marketing. And I think, you know, showing our value to them as a strategic partner rather than just doing stuff that people want, that's the difference. And you know, we're talking about our businesses and their overall business goals, you know, in far more depth than we've done before, and adding value. It's, you know, it's far more than just, oh, you know, you need some digital PR, and it's more than that. You know, and so going in and being our client's strategic partner for the long term is that's where we want to be. That's where we can add more value. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting couple of years, well, and beyond.
Very exciting. Well, Louise, thank you so much for giving us some of your time this morning. I know you're a very busy lady, so we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate you sharing your experiences and what you guys have learned with us. Thank you ever so much.
You're more than welcome. Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.